In this project, you're going to use a control structure called a loop to create a program called CashRegister, which is just a normal cash register. It's the same type of computer code that any cash register uses, kind of like the ones you'd see when you buy something at Walmart or Target or Macy's or whatever. So the first thing we want to do is go to Code Bucket, and there's nothing to download, but you want to create a brand new project, and you're going to call it CashRegister. Create CashRegister. All right, project created. You may now load the project. So go ahead and load CashRegister, and you should get an empty project like this. Now our CashRegister is going to be, we're going to use the output window again. So show output window, and let's just output the words hello world. Let's say hello to the world to test whether or not our output window is working properly. And sure enough, it is. It says hello world. Now, I don't want to say hello world once. I want to say hello world 50 times. So I'm going to go and I'm going to say hello world again. That's twice. And then I'm going to do it again. You know something? This is going to take a long time. I wish there was a way to tell the computer to do the same thing 50 times. Well, in fact, there is. If you go down here, you're going to see there's an if statement, a loop, and then a loop for. We're going to learn about loop for. We're also going to learn about the loop, but that's going to be a little later on. This loop, I'll just give you a little preview. This is a complicated loop. We have to learn about these if statements and what goes here and what a break statement is, and we'll learn about that eventually. But right now, we just want a very simple loop that we can tell the computer, just do this many times. So we put our code inside the loop, and we say loop for, I don't know, let's do it 50 times. And the computer is going to follow these instructions inside the loop 50 times. Let's see if it does that. And sure enough, it does. Hello world once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5, 6. You know, I can't count them all. Huh. So how should we fix that? Well, rather than outputting hello world all on one line, let's do it each on a separate line. Now notice, I can put more than one command in this loop. So the computer is going to read the first command, string out hello world, go to the next line, new line, and then it's going to go back up to the top, and it's going to do the same thing another time, twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5, 6, and so on. So we run the program, and what do we get? The computer outputs the string hello world 50 times. Now is that actually 50 times? Hard to tell, and I'm not going to spend time counting. Let's assume it is. We'll verify it in a little while, but that looks like a lot. All right, so let's format this program a little bit, and let's ask the user, how many times do you want to say hello to the world? Well, if we're asking the user for a piece of information, that's a number. You know how to do that from the last project. You want to create a variable, and this is number of times, we'll call it. Number of times to say hello. And that's going to be whatever you say it is. So now the user is going to enter a number for the number of times they want to say hello. And let's run the program. All right, how many times do you want to say hello? Instead of 50, I want to say hello only 12 times. So I press enter, and you know what? It said hello much more than 12 times. In fact, that looks like 50 times again. Why is that? Well, because the computer's doing exactly what I told it to do. I'm looping for how many times? 50 times. Now, instead of 50 times, if I want the user to decide how many times the loop is going to execute for, I need to put that variable, number of times, inside of loop 4. Now, the value of number of times is going to be the times that the computer loops and executes these instructions. Now let's try it. All right, how many times do you want to say hello to the world? I want to say hello to the world 12 times. I press enter, and sure enough, there we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I can count that. That's no problem. All right, the computer did exactly what I told it to do. It outputted hello world and then started a new line 12 different times. Excellent. Now, if I wanted to do, let's do this again, and let's go back to our 50. No, let's make it a little larger than that. I want to do it, instead of 12, let's do this, 1,200 times. Whoa. Let's see. Look at this. Wow, that's a lot of times. How can I verify that the computer actually outputted hello world 1,200 times? Well, by using what we call a counter. And a counter does exactly what you'd think it does. It counts. You're going to need a variable, and you're going to call it counter. You can call it anything you want. I'm going to call it counter. Say OK. And then I'm going to set the counter to 0. So before the loop starts, the counter equals what? The counter equals 0. Excellent. So as soon as the loop starts, the first time that the loop executes, I'm going to set counter not equal to 0, but whatever counter is plus 1. And you'll see why in a second. So counter equals whatever counter is plus 1. Why is that? Well, let's think. The first time the loop executes, if counter is 0, then this first time, counter is going to equal 0 plus 1, which is 1. And this is the first time that the loop executes. The second time, counter is going to equal whatever counter equals plus 1. Well, what does counter equal? 1. If you add 1 to that, now it's going to equal 2. So now the counter knows we're on the second loop. The next time, counter is going to equal 3. Third time, fourth time, fifth, sixth, and so on and so on. Now, if I want to verify that I've actually said hello to the world 1,200 times, or however many times, I can output, after hello world, a message like this. I've said hello world. And then after that, I'm going to output the string. Output the integer, whatever counter is. So I've said hello to the world. I've said hello world, and 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever. And for the sake of formatting, times. And then new line. And let's see what that does. All right, how many times do you want to say hello to the world? 1,200 times. Boom. Look at that. Oh, I forgot a parentheses. Look at. All right, hello world. I've said hello world 1 times. Hello world. I've said hello world 2 times, 3 times, 4 times. And look at that. I can actually count the amount of times I've said hello to the world. And let me fix this formatting. I've said hello to the world. Something times. And you can do that. Let's test it for other values. What if I do it for 57 times? How many times do you want to say hello to the world? 57 times. There you go. I've said hello to the world 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way down to 57 times. And that's how to use what's called a for loop, or in this program, in CodeBucket, it's called a loop for. Now, you are going to use the loop for control structure to create a program that acts as a cache register. Now, you're going to have to use the counter. You're going to have to use string out, integer in, all of this. The thing about this project is I'm not going to demonstrate anything. I've in this video I've taught you everything you need to know. You're going to watch how the program functions, and based on that, you're going to figure out how to program it. So let's run that program so you can see what you have to do. And here's the program. How many items do you want to ring up? I want to ring up 5 items. All right. What's the price of item 1? $14. What's the price of item 2? I don't know, $18. What's the price of item 3? $12. What's the price of item 4? That one's kind of expensive, $79. And what's the price of item 5? $4. Now, I'm going to warn you, you can't use decimals. Oops, let's say 450. All right. So far, I've only taught you about integers. Yes, the computer can understand this type of number, but for right now, we're only going to use integers. So if you try putting in a decimal, it's going to give you a number format error. So even though we're working with money, don't type in $4.99 or $79.95. It's got to be an integer. And don't type in negative numbers, even though it'll accept it, I think. Don't do that. I shouldn't have even said that. All right, so let's do 8. And then the cost, or total cost of all items is $131. Let's run that again so you get a second view. How many items do you want to ring up? I want to ring up 3 items. Item 1 is $10, item 2 is $15, item 3 is $20. Total cost of all items is $45. It's short, it's simple, but you have to use what I've taught you, and you have to figure it out yourself. Of course, I'll help you, but part of the fun of programming is solving the problems, is thinking, how do I use what I know to build what I want to build? So, good luck. There's also, if you don't want to watch this video again, I've printed out what the program is supposed to do and what it looks like in one of the files in the folders. So take a look at that and create your cash register program. Good luck.